All right. Hi, everybody. All right. Give me 1 second as I try to fix my camera, and we will get started here. Talk about the trade deadline, as there has been some moves. All right. Since we obviously last talked last night, there have been some moves that we need to kind of go over, and we are officially in the last 60 minutes. All right. Trade deadline is at 2 p.m. Central Time here, so. If the Bulls are going to make any sort of moves here, it did not happen last night. It's got to happen in the next, 59 minutes here. So, I'm hoping that the Bulls do the proper thing and make the correct decisions. But I have no faith in this front office to do that. So, we are just going to be kind of covering the rest of the NBA moves right now, as I do think that there's some moves that have been happening that have been pretty interesting. And I'm really hoping that we get some more interesting moves just to kind of talk about, because there's some really good stuff here, I think. So, I just want to recap what we did talk about last night really quickly, and then we're going to go straight into some of the new moves that just did happen today. And then as more things flood in, we'll be talking about it. So if Shams does not tweet out something, but like Chris Haynes does, let me know. I don't have Chris Haynes on notifications. I just have Shams only. So let me know if Chris Haynes just tweets something out and Shams didn't. Okay. Then I'll immediately go over to Chris Haynes and look at it. Okay. So really quickly though, the last trade that we were talking about before the stream ended last night was the Dalton Connect, Cam Reddish, the 2031 first round pick from the Lakers, pick swap for Mark Williams. And I actually think that this is probably like the biggest win-win of the trade deadline so far. This made a lot of sense in my opinion for both teams. I think this is a perfect win-win. The Charlotte Hornets, they probably had no intention of re-signing Mark Williams for what we've been looking at, and they get a 2031 unprotected pick out of it, and they also get Dalton Connect. So I think this is honestly a win-win for both sides, as now the Lakers get Luka Doncic as center for the future, and they're looking pretty solid from here on out, right? So Mark Williams obviously is on a cheap contract for now. He's still on his rookie deal, and that's great for the Lakers for right now, right? They definitely wanted that cheaper contract. So I think this is a great trade for the Lakers, and also a great trade for the Hornets. So I think this is honestly the best win-win of the deadline. I am aware, though, that a lot of people have been talking about Mark Williams has been injured a lot, and that is fair. I think that is a fair criticism to have. But in terms of just overall fit for the Lakers and Luka Doncic, I think you can't really get anyone better that's available on the trade market for his contract as cheap as it is, right? A lot of people talk about Miles Turner. It's really hard to trade for Miles Turner if you're the Lakers now after the Doncic deal. So I think honestly, and Miles Turner is going to be unrestricted free agent anyway. I think this is the smartest deal out there for the Lakers, and I think they did a good job. So I'm overall pretty happy with how those two teams made that deal. 2 hours ago, we saw this trade happen, and I tweeted out question marks, because I'm just like, I don't really understand this for the Raptors. I guess the Raptors just get a second-round pick for Davion Mitchell. They're just taking on PJ Tucker's contract, which I think is just kind of interesting. I don't know if that's, something that they really wanted to, but, taking on PJ Tucker for a second-round pick, I think is fine, but having to trade Davion Mitchell, I think is kind of weird. So the Raptors, I mean, we haven't seen a Brandon Ingram extension yet. So far, I've been kind of confused with both their moves this trade deadline. I don't know why you would do this with Davion Mitchell, but sure. Yeah, I'm not really understanding it. For Miami, it made a lot of sense. They got rid of PJ Tucker, and they're below the luxury tax now. So this makes a lot of sense for them. So yeah, this is perfectly fine, at least in my opinion, for Miami. When it comes to Milwaukee and doing this little small trade, Milwaukee just traded Patrick Baldwin Jr., who they just got in the Washington deal with Kuzma to San Antonio. It went for cash to San Antonio. This helps the Milwaukee Bucks get even further below the second apron. So they were basically, after the deal to trade Chris Middleton for Kuzma, they were right below the second apron, and now they're about almost $3 million below the second apron. So they have a little bit more space to kind of work with here. And I think it's a smart decision. So this makes a lot of sense for Milwaukee. For San Antonio, it's honestly just, you're just taking a flyer, right? So nothing to really talk about there. The Phoenix Suns have decided to trade Yusuf Nurkic and a 2026 first-round pick that they just recently got, right? For Cody Martin, Vasilija Micic, and a 2026 second round pick. I'm going to hope that the Phoenix Suns are not done, because this cannot be your only move. This trade, in my opinion, does not really help you that much. Getting Nurkic off the books, I think, was a main priority, which is fine. It's just that the guys he got in return is just not that important. Like, I mean, Cody Martin's nice, I won't lie, but Micic, I will admit, has been pretty disappointing. So unless he has like some sort of resurgence, I think this is honestly pretty disappointing for Phoenix here. But they still have, you know, I think at least one more pick that they can go ahead and trade. And they just got this 2026 second round pick to trade. So I think, honestly, they need to look into trading that any of their picks to just try to upgrade the team. And I don't know, maybe you just trade Vasilija Micic and Cody Martin immediately with a pick attached. So for Phoenix, I'm a little bit confused by this. But I understand that they're trying to get Jusuf Nurkic off the squad, which they've accomplished. For the Hornets, though, I think the Charlotte Hornets have had an absolute banger deadline right now. They basically, in this sense, they were able to turn Cody Martin, Vasilija Micic into taking a first-round pick back by taking Jusuf Nurkic's contract. I think that's an absolute win. I think the Mark Williams trade was an absolute win for them. So I think, honestly, the Charlotte Hornets right now, in terms of rebuilding teams, they're absolutely killing it. So good job by their front office. But then the most recent trade that has just happened, and I think it's a very big one, is that the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are at the top of the Eastern Conference right now, have decided to trade trade for DeAndre Hunter, for Karis LeVert, Georges Niang, and 3 second-round picks and 2 pick swaps. Just to keep note, the pick swaps are not that valuable for the Atlanta Hawks. They're basically already like rights to swap that was already like kind of sent like with the Utah Jazz. So I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work out with all that. So we'll see how that works out. But I think for the Cavs, I think this is great. I think that ideally DeAndre Hunter is going to continue to come in and just like play as good as he's been playing. He will probably be starting now, so that is like the only concern about it. Maybe like he might just be one of those guys where he's better off the bench, right? But if he is starting, and I'm gonna hope that he probably is, because the Cavs need his size in the starting lineup. I'm gonna hope he continues to play well. So that's gonna be interesting to look at. In terms of getting rid of Karis LeVert, I was a little bit surprised by it, but I do think Ty Jerome has played well enough that Karis LeVert suddenly is expendable for the Cavs. So I'll be interested to see how that's going to work out for them, and hopefully it works out the proper way. For Atlanta, I think that this was a little bit disappointing in terms of the return for Hunter, unless obviously you trade Karis LeVert and Georges Niang like really quickly here. So 3 second-round picks I think is solid, but I think you wanted probably something else in return in terms of the contract. So I really think that LeVert and Niang, you know, maybe you send them out, but the Hawks are trying to, like, you know, still be relevant, right? So I'm gonna be interested to see how that's gonna turn out for them, because I don't know. I personally would look to just, maybe you keep Karis LeVert. I think that's a guy that maybe you could just keep around, but I would probably look to trade Niang, see if you could get some more, maybe some more second rounders out of it. So like, if you get like trade Georges Niang for another second round pick, and you can say that you trade DeAndre Hunter for 4 second-round picks, then I think you're looking pretty solid. So that's something just to keep in mind. Now, one trade that has gone under the radar that I think is important when it comes to us Bulls fans, okay? There have been some trades that have not been announced by Shams, so I don't know like if Shams is just kind of, only honed in on some certain trades here. But this trade has been reported by multiple people, and it's that the Washington Wizards have traded 4 second-round picks to the Philadelphia 76ers for a 2026 first-round pick. I think, honestly, if there's any sort of trade to show Bulls fans why I think that second-round picks are very important in a rebuild, okay? And why it's important that the Chicago Bulls today decide to go ahead and just bite the bullet and trade Nikola Vucevic for second-round picks here, or 1 second-round pick, or whatever it is, okay? It's this trade. If you have a surplus of second-round picks that you can have, you can probably go ahead and do stuff like this. You can trade into the first round using your second-round picks that you accumulate, okay? I'm frustrated that this is not something the Bulls really seem that they're interested in. Hence why I'm still concerned that they're not actually rebuilding. But this is the reason why I've been pretty adamant that like second round picks in a rebuild is really important. And if you can accumulate enough second round picks, then you can potentially trade into the first round. It's not always consistent, but either way, your job is to try to accumulate young talent, right? And second round picks, you know, you still get young talent with that. But if you're able to then trade those second round picks into the first round, awesome. If you're wondering, are the Bulls going to do such a thing? Well, they don't really have that many second round picks right now. They have the Kings second round pick this in 2025. They don't have a second round pick in 2026 and 2027. And then they have their own through 2028 and beyond, okay? But that's not like having a surplus, right? You're down basically 2 second round picks. So the correct decision would be to go ahead and trade Nikola Vucevic for a second round pick today, and just accept that you're not going to get a first round pick out of the deal. I think that would be very smart of them, but they're not going to probably do that, and it's going to be frustrating as hell. So that's that in terms of just my one little rant yet again about getting second round picks in a rebuild. I understand people are not very, you know, they're like, oh, second rounders don't matter too much. I get it. They're not as valuable as first round picks, but if you're able to accumulate enough, you're able to do stuff like this, okay? So I'm hoping that this is going to be just a goal of the Bulls, but I doubt it. This front office is just so damn dumb that they're not going to do stuff like this the smart way. All right, I want to go ahead and just talk to you about a couple of things that have been reported by some of the Bulls beat reporters as we are closing in on the deadline here. I know Casey Johnson had some tweets earlier today, and we'll be talking about a couple things as we move into we are now about 45 minutes away from the deadline, so something's gotta happen here if you're the Bulls, man. I hope it happens. Nick's interested in Bulls guards. My guess they want IR or Carter. They want IR or Carter. So I did see that, Britt. That is reported by Joe Coley though, so I don't know how much I really trust Coley, but we'll go ahead and just trust him for now. And yeah, I think honestly it makes a lot of sense. I actually think that they might be interested in Kobe because their backup point guard is Campaign. And so if they were able to maybe pull off Kobe White to come off their bench and be a major part of their bench, then I think they would have been interested in it. There's also a little bit of a connection that there's the Kobe White's agent or agency is the agency for a lot of Knicks players. So I think that's something just to keep in mind. But I also could see them wanting Io or Carter, more specifically probably Io for them. If you're the Bulls though, just kind of looking at the return that you'll be getting, I think that the Knicks aren't not really the best team to trade with right now. I have to like double check spot track here, but I think it's not exactly the best thing to look at because it's kind of hard with the new salary rules and everything like that, or the trade rules of the CBA. But it is interesting to look at. So I'll go ahead and do that, like kind of like a look at this sort of idea in a second here. Maybe it's Trey Jones, honestly. That'd be honestly great if, like, you know, you could trade Trey Jones there. I'd be very happy if you could. But really quickly before I do that, let's talk about this really quickly, and as I catch up on chat here. I think Carter's worth trading, but he's more of a Tibbs guy than Kobe. In a sense, yes, but if Kobe's coming off the bench, I think that's okay. Like, he's not going to be like playing like, you know, 30 plus minutes for Tibbs, and I think Tibbs can live with a scoring guard coming off the bench, you know. Going on, Rob. Injury this year, Rob Williams, yeah. Chet back on Friday, yes. Chet Holmgren is coming back Friday, so that's gonna be cool to see for the Thunder. They're obviously, you know, out at top of the West, and they're getting their starting center back, so that'll be cool. Bulls done, huh? I think so, A-Dot. I really think the Bulls are just done. It's stupid, but I do think that the Bulls are just done. We have 45 minutes though until the deadline actually does hit, so there's time, but I think the Bulls are done, and it's really stupid. Guys made a nice moves. We'll see if their bench hold up. Yeah, that's obviously going to be a big question, but I do think that starting lineup is very solid. If Hunter's going to come in and be the proper, like the actual proper like wing that they needed, then that starting lineup might honestly just carry them through. But yeah, their bench is going to have to see it. Like, they have to at least hold up in some sort. Like first round probably for the Wizards trade. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna probably be. I think it's actually the Oklahoma City pick or something like that. I have to like double check it, but either way, you're trading into the first round. Like that's a win if you're the Wizards. So it's probably gonna be a late first round pick anyway, but that's the goal, right? You trade 4 second rounders. A lot of those second rounders could probably be in like the mid to late second round, and you can get a first round pick out of it. Like that's how you do things, right? I'm not entirely sure what the pick exactly was, but either way, the Wizards are doing the things right, like doing the proper thing. Deadline is not passed. We are 45 minutes away, about 45 minutes away from deadline. Yeah. In a deep draft, I like second round picks. I don't know how far they're looking ahead and know who's coming out though. But we don't know what exactly those picks that they did send out, Rob. But here's this, okay? If you're wondering how many picks that the Wizards had, the Washington Wizards had a ton of second round picks, okay? It helped with the Bradley Beal deal, but like if you're wondering, I mean, it's hard to read all this, but basically they had so many second round picks to trade. They had like I think 17 second round picks in like the next 7 years to go ahead and trade. So I think this is honestly very, very smart of them. Just to go ahead and just take their surplus, and I'm talking they have a surplus of second round picks, and going ahead and just sending them out and try to get into the first round. So I understand what you're saying, right? I do think that, yeah, in a deep draft, you probably want to keep some second round picks, but if you're having a surplus of second round picks, like, down the road, then you're fine. Like the Wizards, by doing this for the 2026 draft, they probably are going to have a ton of second round picks still in the 2026 draft, and they got a first round pick also out of it. So I think to maximize a deep draft, if you could get multiple first round picks in a deep draft, that's a great start, right? Sorry, I'm trying not to highlight you guys. So yeah, I personally think it's a win for the Wizards. That's a very good trade for them. Can you just dump trash like Javon Carter? Well, to dump trash, you probably have to give up some sort of future asset. So I personally don't think that's a smart idea. Again, I would be all for dumping Javon Carter. Like, please do that. I would be very happy if you could just dump him. But I don't think that's something that they're going to be doing. Because you're going to have to probably give up a second round pick to dump Javon Carter. So if you're the Bulls, that's just not in their smartest of interests. Like, don't be giving them any second round picks right now. You're already you don't have that many in the first place. Don't give up any more. Like, you gave up one in the Levine deal. I hate it that you did that. So please don't give up any more. The only thing worse than AK's inactivity is to trust him making future picks. He's got to go, man. Oh, I agree completely. I think we're absolutely screwed if he actually does try to rebuild. Or if are trying to, if he's actually trying to go and do the wrong thing, which is trying to make the team relevant still, we're absolutely screwed. But I'm just hoping that the Reinsdorfs at some point, either they sell the team, which was never going to happen, Jerry himself passes away, or the Bulls actually do their proper thing and they fire the front office, which is, it's very unlikely. But if this was any other ownership group, yeah, I would be, this front office is fired by now, but it's not how it goes. So yeah, I'm gonna be interested to see how this works. Guys going all in Hunter, I love that move for them. I also like the move. I think in theory it should work, but again, just as we talked about with Patrick Williams, like Hunter coming off the bench this year has been good for him, right? So I'm gonna hope that nothing comes bad out of it, right? Where it's suddenly he's in the starting lineup again, and we'll see if he continues to play well in the starting lineup. But in theory, that's the proper wing that they needed to go and get. So it looks good. Do you see anything about Orlando being interested in Kobe? So yes, I have seen the stuff. So this is going to lead me back into the Casey Johnson tweets today. Okay. So here's what's going on with what Casey Johnson has said. It has been reported from Ian Beagley and Ian Beagley, excuse me, and now Casey Johnson 5 hours ago that Orlando has been interested in Kobe White. Okay. Orlando desperately just needs shooting, and so getting Kobe White would be very smart. We've already talked about Gary Harris and I don't know, 3 second rounders from Orlando. It's not amazing, but I mean, I don't know if Orlando would be willing to give up a first round pick in this sort of trade for Kobe, but who knows, maybe. But just kind of with the way that they're kind of constructed, I'd be kind of shocked if they did. But Orlando has seemed to have some sort of interest, but at the same time, the Bulls asking price is pretty high, right? which is what's been the constant theme. So I don't think this is actually going to happen. I hope it does, personally, and the Bulls get some good value from Kobe, but I don't have faith that this is going to happen. Now, I did just see about like the Jake Fisher. What someone just said that. Britt just said that. So what we've been hearing so far from Casey Johnson specifically is that from an hour ago, there is no momentum for a Warriors to Vucevic to Warriors deal. Okay, there's just been no momentum for that to actually work out. So it sucks, but for what we've been seeing, it's not gonna happen. I really hope it does happen because the contracts are possible for it to work. It's just that I really don't think it's going to happen here. So I don't know what exactly is going to happen in the next, now like 38 minutes. But if that deal can get done, awesome. But I'm going to think that because the front office is still asking for too much for Vucevic, that the Warriors are just going to go look somewhere else. And that's probably their smart thing. I looked into Matas at number 11. He was projected top 5 at one point, so it was a no-brainer. Yeah, like, I agree. I think Matas, falling to them was very helpful. But I'd be interested to see, like, I also just wonder how much of it, because Matas being from Hinsdale, like, did play a part into why they drafted him. Obviously, it looks like it's the right decision. I won't lie. I was not exactly that thrilled with the pick because I wasn't really scouting Matas that much because I thought he was going to go top 5 anyway. But yeah, they definitely looked into that pick. But obviously, the other picks for AK have not been great, besides maybe Io. Also, my long-term dream is for Mark Cuban to buy the Bulls. Well, yeah, I would also love that, but that's just not going to happen. Same way Kings looked into Halliburton, that's also kind of true. Yeah. Kobe's last survivor of the card backs the era on the roster now, so he's a possibility to get moved. I just think it's just smart just to move him anyway. Like, forget like, oh, he's the last guy on the last guy from the Garpax era. Just moving him is just the smartest thing. So ooh, okay, this is interesting. All right, new trade coming in. LA Clippers are trading Terrence Mann and Bones Highland to Atlanta Hawks for Bogdan Bogdanovic and 3 second-round picks. So in 2 trades, the Atlanta Hawks have acquired 6 second-round picks for Bogdanovic and DeAndre Hunter, and they also got Karis LeVert back in the deal. And Georges Niang, and so they now get Terrence Mann and Bones Highland. So not exactly sure what Atlanta's doing. They might actually be looking to kind of go down in the standings here. But I think for the Clippers, this is actually a very nice player to have for them. I think he's had a little bit of struggles this year compared to his previous years, but I think honestly for the Clippers, this is good. Like this is a very nice player in Bogdanovic to kind of have. I think you're not giving up too much. I mean, I like Terrence Mann, but he's been kind of just declining in terms of play time this year. And giving up Bones Highland, I think, is perfectly fine in this deal. So this is another trade. I think that both teams it makes a lot of sense for them. I think you can maybe argue that the Clippers shouldn't be doubling down on where they're going, but Steve Ballmer's not a guy that's going to rebuild, right? So I think in terms of getting your team better, this makes a lot of sense. I think this is a very, very good trade. For both squads. I think if you're Atlanta, you got 3 second-round picks for Bogdanovic, and again, you might be able to trade Terrence Mann, and you're probably gonna have to keep Bones Highland, but you might be able to trade Terrence Mann here, as well as Karis LeVert. So yeah, I mean, interested to see how this works out for Atlanta, but they've so far acquired 6 second-round picks in the last hour. So good job, Atlanta. Pascal's gonna be key. These drafts help find shooters. I don't know about that. I think Patton's more so just a coach, but he'll be key in helping develop shooting. Bogdan should be nice off the bench for them. Yeah, I think this is actually a really nice trade for the Clippers. This is very good. Assuming that they're just going to be keeping like the Norman Powell and Kawhi Leonard as like your main scorers, right? Zubac, right, and Harden are your main pick and roll guys. I think it complements kind of both those, all 4 of those guys in the starting lineup. So if you want to start them, sure. But I think that in terms of off the bench, I think this is a very nice boost for them off the bench. He's a guy that can play the 3 or the 2, and just brings the great shooting that the Clippers are always looking for. He's also He's also lengthy enough where like you can still kind of run like the small lineups that the Clippers like to run still. You know, 6'5", 220. I do think this year, yeah, he has been struggling this year, so like he has missed some time, but he is shooting 30%. Ideally, you know, just kind of like with Kevin Huerter, this is not going to continue for them, but he has also just only played 24 games this year, so I think it's going to work out probably better for them at the end of the day, but we'll see. It might honestly be a Kevin Huerter situation where he's not shooting any better that good anymore, and he is 32, so he's not like he's getting any younger. Yeah, I think honestly it's a nice overall decision if it obviously, you know, Bogdanovich could get back to his normal shooting form. That's obviously the risk, but I think what you gave up, it's not too bad. In total. Is there anywhere else you see Vooch being traded to? No, I'm being serious. I've been looking, but I just don't think there's anywhere else you can trade Nikola Vucevic to right now. We can pray, but I honestly think we're not going to see Vucevic get traded here because the Warriors are smart, and you're not going to trade a first-round pick for Vucevic. Like, that'd just be dumb. Yeah. Okay. I wanted to go ahead and talk about the Kobe White, or sorry, the New York Knicks, you know, rumor that's been spread around from Joe Coley. So, you know, I brought up that Kobe White's agency, that agency is also the agency for a lot of Knicks players. So, you know, there's some sort of connection there. The only thing though is just like I just don't know how the money would work out. Like the Bulls have to take back Mitchell Robinson probably. So like this would be the trade, I guess. But like if you're the Bulls, bro, like I don't know if this is what you want. But in terms of draft capital, bro, it's rough. I mean, this pick is not going to convey this year. The best you could do with these picks is just swap it, right? Because this is not a guaranteed pick in 2025. So yeah, I don't know. I'm looking. I think this is pretty bad overall in terms of what you can maybe get for Kobe. So it's like you're gonna get like Memphis's pick, Milwaukee's second round pick, and then you get Minnesota's second round pick or something like that. Like, is this the deal for Kobe White? I don't know, bro. I don't know if this is worth it if you're the Chicago Bulls, but maybe. I mean, maybe taking the risk on Mitchell Robinson's a fine thing, and you can trade him later down the road. Obviously, if you're gonna probably do this move, you should probably be looking to trade Vooch now. But yeah, I'm not exactly thrilled with this sort of idea, but maybe. In terms of Ayo Dosunmu, I think it's not that difficult because the money's less, but we'll see. Let's see here. So if Ayo's going to the Knicks, it's actually it actually will be a little bit difficult now that I think about it, but it would have to be like Precious, which I don't think they're gonna be willing to give up. Ooh. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and say that I don't think they're gonna trade for Ayo. I think that doesn't make much sense. Because the Knicks are in the second apron, so as much money as they send out is as much money they can take back. So like, if you're wondering, this does not work. Okay, like this Precious for Ayo alone does not work. So, I mean, assuming that they'd be willing to give up campaign in this sort of sense, you can't aggregate DeLon Wright, and they just got DeLon Wright. Yeah, I'm gonna already kind of just say it's not possible. Like, you would have to trade Mitchell Robinson, and then the Bulls would have to go so far into their, the Bulls have to go really far into their luxury or into the luxury tax. Not very far, but they'd be going into the luxury tax if they did this deal. It would help then if you could also just send THT along too. So like, if maybe this is a deal, right, where you trade Ayo Dosunmu, THT for Mitchell Robinson and some picks, like maybe that's the deal. But I have my doubts about that too. What's going on, Box? Atlanta tank mode? I don't know if it's tank mode just yet. Like, I think tank mode, I'd have to see a little bit more. Like, you're trading Capella, right? But they might be. Maybe they do plan on trading Capella, like, right now. So, if they do trade Capella, then it might be tank mode for Atlanta. We go ahead and grab a stray cat and get it to run our front office, and it won't do any worse than AKME. Yeah, I agree, honestly. Bro, go get someone else, bro. I honestly think they'll run the front office better than what we're seeing right now. So yeah, maybe this is the deal. I think it only involves Mitchell Robinson just because Mitchell Robinson just hasn't played for them, right? I just want to see. I just have to see Mitchell Robinson's contract because I don't know it off the top of my head. I mean, yeah, it's less money next year. It's just that he hasn't played all season, right? So yeah, I mean, it would have to involve Mitchell Robinson if there's any deal with the Bulls, honestly, because assuming you're not going to give up Precious because you don't have a big man backup, right? Backup big man, like, it would have to involve Mitchell Robinson in any deal. So, I don't know, if you're the Bulls, like, if you could convince the Knicks, like, so let's just say, for example, like, maybe it's not this deal, but let's say you do the Dosunmu deal, or sorry, the Kobe White deal instead. So, like, if you do this, right? And maybe you can convince the New York Knicks to give up 4 second-round picks in this deal, where, let's just say in 2027, you also get the Houston pick, right? Like, this might be worth it if you're the Bulls, right? Like, I honestly think, like, this wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, to go ahead and do. So, yeah, maybe this is the trade that's being talked about. If I could get 4 second rounders, it might be worth it for Kobe. Atlanta doesn't have the picks to tank. Is that true though? I think they actually do. So like not this year, right? But they have their own in 2026, right? Oh, I guess they forgot the San Antonio. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Never mind. You're right. Yeah, never mind. They're not gonna tank. Yeah, so they're still gonna be trying to just be relevant. So they have more moves probably coming, right? They gotta probably trade, you know, either one of Karis LeVert and Terrence Mann for some more draft capital. So maybe they're preparing for the offseason, honestly. Bulls screw themselves by not getting a single first for AC, DeMar, and Zach. No one in the league will give us a first for Vucevic. Oh, I completely agree. Yeah, we're not getting a first for Vucevic. I've been adamant. I've been telling people that, like, there are people that keep saying that's like it's not worth trading Nikola Vucevic if you don't get a first round pick back. I'm like, bro, I've been saying no matter what, you're not getting a first round pick back for Vucevic. Like, I don't care what I need to tell you, but like you're just not getting one back. So I'm sorry to everybody, but yeah, you're just not getting a first for Vucevic back. Just saw a tweet from a Pacers account about Kobe to Pacers rumor. Ooh, interesting. I'm sorry. I wish YouTube would allow links to be sent, but that's just not something that's allowed for some reason. Let's see here. I'm gonna go search for that. I mean, I don't know how much I trust this person, but let's see, per who? No one. Okay, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how reliable this person is, but you know, we'll look at it really quickly here. I know Pacers have some draft capital that they can spend. It's just that yet again, contracts is always the issue that we gotta look at first. So, let's see. How good has Nesmith been this year? I feel like... Okay, he hasn't played that much. So this is going to work money-wise, right off the bat. This works money-wise. And then it's all about draft capital, right? So Pacers can't trade their 2025 pick because the 2026 pick is protected. So, I mean, like, I don't think you're gonna get a first round pick out of this deal still. I mean, Kobe's gonna come off the bench anyway, so like it's not gonna be a guy that's gonna be like starting for you anyway, so it's not the biggest thing in the world. But in terms of draft capital for the second round, like you don't really get anything because like this is protected, like this can't be traded. So it's not, I'm not exactly thrilled with what I'm seeing. Like you'd be getting all these picks like in like back here, which is like, you know, you could definitely take it, but it's not, I don't know if it's really worth it taking those later picks. So honestly, I would do the New York deal instead. It's insane that we still don't have a direction. We got no present or future. We were just there. Let's get the billboards going. I mean, bro, we funded that, you know, Fireguard Pax billboard, which everyone kept saying was a waste of money. But like honestly though, like it got attention, bro. I think right now with the current situation, I think it would be a waste of money just because I mean the Bulls have always just kept their front offices for at least like a decade, right? So I mean, we're looking until maybe 2030 is when there's a new change in the front office, bro. Like I think right now it would be a waste of money, but I mean, yeah, if we can do anything to voice our displeasure, which at least in my opinion is always just don't go to the games, then it would be great. But I know that's, you know, people always have their, you know, I'm never gonna tell people to stop going to games because, you know, there's always those people that just love just going there just for the atmosphere and everything like that. But at least in my opinion, you should stop going to games. But I'm not here to control you. It's just that I've always told people that if you are upset with the way that the team is being run, if you're upset with the direction the team is going, but yet you continue to go to games, then I think that you have no right to complain because you're a person that is just adding money for Jerry Reinsdorf to just continue doing what he's doing. Okay. I always think that I've always said it, like if you're upset with the way that the team is going right now, like you should not be going to games anymore. If you're gonna be complaining, then don't go to games. But if you understand though that like if you're upset with the direction, but you understand that your money that you spend for the Bulls is helping that lack of direction, and you just go to games, then like, yeah, all right, I'm not gonna, you know, you have that's your decision. I'm not gonna be here to be like, oh, you're stupid. Like you are aware, but you're actively making a decision for that reason. I don't know what it is, but sure, go ahead. But yeah, the only way to really voice your displeasure, to get it to the front office and to the ownership, is to just stop going to games. So, I mean, hell, I've never been to a Bulls game, so I'm not seeing an actual offer that's worth anything but salary filler. Yep, that's kind of the way it's going. If you're wondering, if you think you're gonna be getting anything in terms of like good players back in return this deadline, you're not. If you're wondering about if the Bulls can get anything good for Vucevic in salary fillers, and like is the player gonna be good? No, you're not gonna get anything special. You're gonna get salary fillers and maybe a pick out of it. So that's what you should be expecting. No, honestly, we would trash since 2015 more or less with a little break when Lonzo's healthy for those 30-ish games. These are 10 years of being non-existent. This is poverty. Yep. Welcome to be a Chicago Bulls fan. Goes out to Houston, league shifting. Oh, what a league shifting move. Oh, interesting. Okay. Is that just a save salary cap space move or something? I don't know how much I don't know actually. I'll have to look into what the contracts are. I mean, he's non-guaranteed for the next 2 seasons, so I don't know what exactly this is about. But we'll see what the return is. But it's kind of shocking they gave up a pick in that deal, actually. But no, actually, it makes sense. No, they're just trying to salary dump him. So I mean, Hawks are active. Hawks are doing a lot of things right now. So I mean, I don't know what the return is, but it might just be a salary dump, and that's fine. So they're clearly active right now. Because they got their 2020 second rounder back from Atlanta. Yeah, that's good. For Houston, that's obviously a good thing. So you're just taking a salary dump and you're getting your pick back. That's a solid decision. All right. I mean, we're down to 19 minutes, bro, and the Bulls looks like nothing's gonna happen. So, I'm very pissed right now with how this is going. I cannot believe that the Bulls only traded Zach LaVine and it was a garbage trade, and that's gonna probably be their only move at the deadline. It's so disappointing to see that, but this is what we're at. This is what we're doing right now. The Bulls just need to accept that if the Warriors trade is still on the table right now, where it's you get Kevon Looney, GP2, and a second-round pick, you need to accept that right now. That's the best you're gonna get for Vooch. The fact that there's a team willing to give you that is just a miracle in itself. People are gonna be talking about trading Vooch in the offseason, bro. It's gonna be a salary dump in the offseason. You're not gonna get anything in return. It's just gonna be a straight salary dump, and oh, by the way, he's making more money next year. So this is just straight disappointing right now for the Bulls. This is just straight up annoying. It's just straight up malpractice to what we're seeing right now. Because it seems like the only thing we're gonna be doing is trading Zach LaVine for garbage, and none of the guys that all the guys that we got back, none of them are gonna be traded. Which is just like, you gotta be kidding me, bro. Like the trade accomplished, at least in my opinion, not much, and now with the other trades, like, I would have traded Kobe White right now, but maybe you look at that in the offseason, like, you'll get something back for Kobe, but I think his value is going to be higher now than it is in the offseason because he's on the last year of his deal. Vooch, if it is right now, if that is the case where like you can get that second round pick from the Warriors, then you got to do that now, because if in the offseason it's just gonna be a straight salary dump. No one's gonna be giving you anything for Vooch in the offseason. Okay. This is straight up stupid that they're not taking that, but they're just dumb anyway. I've been a person to say I keep Io, so I'm not like upset like if we don't trade Io, but in terms of Trey Jones, in terms of Kevin Huerter, like, I didn't expect you're gonna be able to trade Zach Collins or Kevin Huerter, but I thought maybe you trade Trey Jones. He's a restricted free agent, or yeah, I think it's a restricted free agent. No, he's unrestricted. Oh, bro. Like, I'm losing my mind right now. So, we're at 16 minutes, bro. 16 minutes for the Bulls to do something. Okay? Their only move has been trading Zach LaVine so far. They gotta do something else here. They gotta. All right. I do want to just go ahead and just say this once, just because there might always be this sort of scenario. So trade deadline again is at 2 p.m. Central Time. So if you're in Chicago, it's at 2 p.m. Okay. It is important just to keep in mind that there is this sort of thing in the NBA. So like there's definitely gonna be a buzzer beater here. So it's just like, so there is gonna be someone who's gonna be just kind of like saying like coming in like last second and making the deal. So that is something just to keep in mind. When it comes to the trade deadline though, there is a rule where like it's very rarely happens. So like, I'm not saying to expect anything, but there is a rule where if two general managers are talking and they're in discussions and they reported the trade to the league office, but it just hasn't been fully agreed upon, that is something that like you could actually still agree to it like a little bit past the exact deadline. I'm not saying like you're not gonna be agreed to like an hour past. I'm just saying like, if it's like 5 minutes past the deadline and like you already kind of reported to the league office, like, here are the players involved, hold this number for us about, hey, maybe we decide to make this decision last second. And it's basically just like a yes or no in terms of we're gonna make this deal or not. That is something that can happen. So you have to report everybody to the league office before the deadline hits, but then you could potentially go ahead and make the decision after the deadline has been officially passed. So that is something just to keep in mind. So like, we might get some buzzer beaters, or we might be getting some trades after the deadline has passed in terms of like the exact time. So just keep that in mind. I'm not saying the Bulls are going to do that. I don't have any faith they're going to do that. I'm just saying that for other teams, like, don't be shocked if at like 2:08 or something we still get like, hey, this trade happened. So yeah. Detroit's acquired Dennis Schroeder from the Utah Jazz, so that's interesting, I guess. Schroeder's just been getting thrown around right now. AKA aiming for plans 3P. Yep. That's exactly what we're doing, bro. Okay, so still just acquiring Dennis Schroeder for Utah Jazz for Detroit. Not bad, honestly. I mean, you lost Jaden Ivey. It's not that bad of a decision. It's gonna be, he's on a 1-year contract, so I think that's pretty solid. Obviously you gotta look at the return here, but I think in general it's a pretty okay move. I did just see that from you guys about Casey Johnson, so. Yeah, I mean, this might honestly just be the Bulls just waving the white flag for Vooch, which is just so stupid. Yeah, I'm not happy, bro. I'm not happy at all. This is straight up ridiculous that we're not trading Nikola Vucevic. Clay says they don't think standings will change much with or without Vucevic. I don't care about the standings, though. I care about getting him off the team so that we don't have to worry about his contract next season. And if you can get a second-round pick, you do it. Like, he's basically worthless next year, bro. Like, he's having a good year this year. I don't think it's repeatable next year. Like, this is the only chance you're going to get in terms of getting anything in return for him. And if you can trade his contract now so that you can get his contract off the books, you do that. But, you know, here we are. This is straight up ridiculous, bro. I said that if the Bulls trade Levine and don't trade Vooch at this deadline, I'm actually going to scream. I mean, I'm actually going to scream in like 12 minutes then. Like, this is straight up stupid. You cannot do this if you're the Bulls. You have to trade Vucevic now. All right, I'm gonna run a quick ad. So be back in 30 seconds here if you do get it. Quick ad here before it gets the last 10 minutes for the deadline. Which is insane because we gave away 2 first rounders and assets for a guy that doesn't move the deal, just your everyday Bulls things. Yeah, I mean, the assets we gave up in terms of players, like, I'm not that upset about it. I mean, Wendell is not really turning into anything special. You trade Otto Porter Jr., like, it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, the first round picks obviously are major. That was obviously the big killer. Trading 1 first for Vooch is probably okay, but trading 2 is just, that clearly was wrong. I was wrong about the deal. I thought the deal was great. Very clearly though, it was a horrible deal. So it's just, the fact that you're not going to get anything in value in return for Vucevic is just so dumb. This is unacceptable by the Bulls front office today. This cannot happen. But it's the Bulls front office. What do you expect? Oh my god, bro. All right, let's see if there's anything else. So, I mean, I'm just going to assume that Vucevic is basically off the table now in terms of a trade with this tweet by Casey Johnson. Okay, this is interesting. More on guard glut. Multiple teams are under pressure and Bulls want to keep Io Sumu. Not saying they don't want to keep others, just have heard from several teams specifically about Io. Also, not only is Trey Jones poised to survive deadline, but could stick beyond his expiring. Okay, cool. I mean, again, I've been a person that wants to keep Io, so I don't know what the offers were for Io, but obviously if you get a first round offer, you give up Io. But if you weren't gonna get, like, you know, if it's just a salary filler and 1 second rounder for Io Sumu, then you just keep him. I've been adamant that I want to trade Kobe more than trade Io. I would like to just keep Io instead, but yeah, I mean, looks like Trey Jones is just gonna stick here. That's fine too. I mean, like, I'm okay with Trey Jones. It's just that you're gonna have to make some serious decisions then this upcoming offseason, because you have so many damn guards on your roster with Lonzo officially re-signing. I mean, we still have Dalen Terry, we still have Kevin Huerter, Josh Giddey has to be re-signed this summer. Io and Kobe, obviously, like Javon Carter is gonna pick up his player option. You have so many guards on this roster that you need to make some sort of decision on some of them. Okay. Priority number one is get rid of Javon Carter. I don't know how that's possible though. It's gonna be hard. I understand that. When it comes to Io and Kobe, I've said I would pick to choose Kobe to get traded because I think it's gonna be more expensive. Both those guys will be in the last year of their contracts next year, so you're probably gonna have to choose one or the other, honestly. Trey Jones is gonna be an unrestricted free agent anyway, so you have to pay him. And I don't know what Dalen Terry's role is still. Like, I don't really know what that's gonna look like. And Trey Jones, I've been pretty adamant, is just a backup point guard, and he's a nice backup point guard, but he's not anybody that's just like, yeah, we're just gonna keep you around just cuz. Like, he's 25, he doesn't really have much potential. So, but I just don't understand the thought process with having so many damn guards still on the roster, man. And again, I haven't even talked about trade or paying Giddey this offseason, which you have to do. It's so stupid, man. I mean, Giddey is probably gonna be a forward, like he's probably be playing more forward anyway moving forward. Like I think he's more probably poised to play like the 3 or the 4, and just kind of just be like this little Swiss Army knife, I guess, which is not a great one, but just kind of like, you know, do a little bit of everything. But he's not good enough to be your point guard. So yeah, I'm just not happy at all. I'm not happy at all with this. You're gonna have to figure this out if you're the Bulls really quickly. But oh my god, I said it, man. I genuinely said it. The Bulls are not rebuilding. Okay, like if they were actively rebuilding, they're trading Vooch now for just scraps. I don't like. You could get a protected second-round pick for Nikola Vucevic right now, and that is the correct decision if you're rebuilding, okay? The Bulls are not rebuilding. They're straight up not. They traded Zach LaVine just because they just wanted Zach off the team. They've been trying to trade Zach LaVine for years. They were trying to trade Zach LaVine when DeMar DeRozan was still here, okay? Trading Zach LaVine has been a goal for multiple seasons, but that was not ever a goal to rebuild, okay? Their goal of trading Zach was just to get the contract off the books. That was the whole goal. And so they traded Zach. They didn't get any picks in return in that deal. They didn't get any cap space out of the deal. So that was the plan. It's just you're gonna trade Zach LaVine just to get the contract off the books, and we're gonna still go and be relevant because we have our pick back fully, so we don't have to worry about being bad anymore. We're gonna officially go and try to make the play in every single season now because we have the full rights to our pick. We're gonna go and be relevant because we don't have to worry about being bad anymore. It's just so bad, bro. It's so bad from the Bulls, man. It's so bad. Like, this has to get done for the Bulls. I mean, you have 5 minutes, so please do something, man. Do something, please. You got to go and rebuild. But I've been adamant. Like, I think this team is not rebuilding. I think that this team is actively looking to try to be good. In terms of like the multi-year salaries for the Bulls, like next year, I mean, like mostly like 2 of your top 4 paid players are Zach Collins and Kevin Huerter, who I think are basically dead weights. They're both making $18 million next season. In terms of cap space, like you might have 20 million if you renounce all the rights to guys. So that's if you renounce the rights to Josh Giddey and Trey Jones. Like that's just best case scenario. Like you're not renouncing the rights to those guys. You got to have the cap hold, so you're not gonna have cap space next summer. Unless you trade like Kevin Huerter or something and you get Vucevic off the roster. Like if you could trade Vuce now and get his contract off the books for next year, get rid of Kevin Huerter, like you'll have cap space for next offseason, but you're not doing that right now. Wait, we did trade it? Wait, what are you talking about? No, we didn't trade Vooch. Yeah, AV Reese, come on. We didn't trade Vooch. Again? Memphis are trading Marcus Smart and a 2025 first-round pick to the Wizards in a multi-team deal that sends 2 second-round picks to Memphis. Memphis creates roster flexibility with this move. Okay, so what's the next move here for Memphis? That's a lot to give up Marcus Smart just to get some salary cap flexibility. So we need to see another move here. Clippers are trading Kevin Porter Jr. to the Milwaukee Bucks for Marjon Beauchamp. That's interesting. I mean, I don't like Kevin Porter Jr., but I mean, Marjon Beauchamp is like the one that, like, he is freakishly athletic, but he has been basically just the same player for like the last 4 seasons. Like, he has not done anything special in terms of on-court performance. So we're not. I'm telling you right now, like for the Clippers, like unless they find a way to get the most out of Marjon Beauchamp, I don't know if I like this move. But I mean, if you're Milwaukee, I guess this is interesting. Like, you have your backup point guard, I guess, now. Lonzo and KD works together. Lonzo and getting on the court together works pretty well with the right combos in the advanced stats, some format lineups. It has worked out pretty well, but just a reminder that Levine was part of that lineup for like the reason why it looked pretty good. I know the Bulls' offense has looked pretty solid since Levine has been traded, but I don't have faith it's going to continue that way. The Bulls have, for the most part, been hitting their threes. So I just don't have faith in that. Like, I think that Giddey and Lonzo playing together is fine, but you need to make sure that you have the proper pieces, because those can't be like your point guards. Okay, like Lonzo, I talked about Lonzo's your wing. Okay, Lonzo is your wing. Giddey can be like your kind of ball handler in a sense, but yeah, I think he's probably more of, like, he's going to be like more of a point forward moving forward, and not really being like the entire offense. You need a shot creator with those guys. Those guys are not shot creators. Those guys are just, they're going to help set up the teammates well, but that's it. Like, they're not really there to really run the offense fully. You need someone that actually has on-ball gravity, and those guys don't. So I think that, yeah, in like so far it looks like it's fine in terms of how those guys together have been playing, but I think in terms of just long-term success, that's not going to be something that's going to be like fully relied upon. Like, you're not going to be going and being the best teams with Josh Giddey and Lonzo Ball being your best 2 players and just some other guys on the floor, right? Like, you need someone else that's better than those 2 guys to play those 2 together, and then that's okay. But it's just not, it's not something that you're gonna have to depend upon. That's not a smart decision if you do that. Sharms Karania. Oh my god, you guys, come on, man. y'all gotta make sure. Like, this is why I just have Shams on notification. So like, if there is a trade that Shams releases, then I just look here. I don't look on the rest of Twitter. I just look here. Obviously the best thing to do is just go here, right? Just go to his Twitter itself and just wait. But all right, we are officially at 2 p.m. So deadline buzzer is going off right now. So I mean, again, like there could be some last minute things here in terms of the other teams. I don't expect the Bulls to make any moves here, but last minute things hopefully for the Bulls, but definitely other teams I could see making like a last minute decision here. We've had some come in near the buzzer, right? This trade for the Grizzlies is very confusing to me because they need to, I think they need to make another move. But let's see. I just want to see from Memphis because I know that Marcus Smart. Damn, did they already update it? Was it that quick? Bro, Spot Truck's on their game today, bro. Okay. Who they traded? I forgot who they just traded with. Oh, deal. Indiana Pacers trading James Wiseman and cash to the Toronto Raptors. Okay. So this is a salary dump move. James Wiseman's obviously injured. And so they're gonna get themselves below the luxury tax with this deal. So not bad. I think if you're the Raptors, that's fine. Take a risk on James Wiseman. That's okay. Who did Smart get traded to? The Wizards. Okay. Am I dumb? Hold on. Where did Marcus Smart go? Like, I don't see him anymore. He just is like gone. Okay, let's see this. Okay, so yeah, next year he has $21 million. So I guess this is more so about next year for the Grizzlies, right? Like you get $21 million off your book for next season for the Grizzlies. So I guess you don't need to make a deal now. But yeah, I don't really know what exactly the idea is for the Grizzlies, but I wouldn't be thrilled if I was a Grizzlies fan by having to give up a first round pick just to get Marcus Smart off my roster. That seems a little bit egregious. But clearly they have a plan in mind, so go ahead and do that, I guess. Oh, here he is. He's here now, finally. Okay, so they just updated this. There, Marcus Smart is here for the Memphis Grizzlies. They now, I mean, yeah, it does open up some salary cap for them, not just roster flexibility, I should say, not salary cap specifically. And so they'll have some more room below the first apron luxury tax. All right, it looks like, I mean, again, I think the Bulls are done. Like, there's nothing that really makes me believe that the Bulls have done a big deal. So again, just like as you see here, like this did come like basically after the buzzer, right? But I talked about before, like, you know, we might be seeing some of these at, like, you know, the next couple of minutes from Shams. But deadline might actually be over in terms of the rest of the NBA. So yet again, another failed deadline for the front office. I'm gonna be very interested to see what AK is going to talk about his presser here. I'm not gonna, if I do play the presser, it's going to be I mean, okay, we got confirmation from Casey Johnson. We're going live. Bulls were active, but Zach LaVine the only deal now, I'm told, which is so stupid. What a failed front office, bro. Right, I hope Michael Reinsdorf actually has a brain, which I know he doesn't, but like if he has any sense of a brain right now, he needs to fire these guys today. Like, go and force them to do their press conference and just go ahead and just go ahead and just fire them after it. Just go ahead and fire them now. But I know you won't, but if he has any sort of brain, bro, let him go ahead and do the press conference and just fire them. Like, this is so stupid, man. If there is, so I know that there's gonna be a press conference here for the front office. I don't know if it's gonna be AK, if it's gonna be Mark Eversley. I wouldn't be shocked if it is Mark Eversley only here. But if there is a press conference, I'm gonna go ahead and play it with you guys, and we can listen together. I will also be having Will Gottlieb and Casey Johnson's Twitter up, just to make sure that if there are any quotes that are important, that go ahead and make sure I hear them. But this is straight up disgustingly bad by the Bulls front office. I said, honestly, bro, I don't think the Bulls are actually rebuilding when they traded Zach, and the LaVine trade was garbage. And this right here today shows that they clearly don't have a direction. They are not rebuilding. They cut Vucevic, which makes no damn sense. You didn't trade Kobe, which I think should have been a smart move if you're going to be proactive. You need to trade Vucevic at bare minimum, though, this deadline. The fact that you didn't trade Nikola Vucevic at this deadline is a flat-out disaster. An absolute failure of this front office. It's a straight-up malpractice, and it is straight-up just... I mean, I don't even know what to say at this point, but like, I could say so many bad things about them right now, but I won't. But you're straight up just failing your franchise, bro. Like, you cannot be doing this right now if you're the Bulls. This offseason, I mean, I'd be shocked if I'm proven wrong about Vucevic, but if no one wanted him now, when he has another year left on his deal, Like, no one's gonna want him next season when he's just a salary dump and he's just a, you know, has 1 year left on his contract and he's a year older. This is disappointing. If you're the Bulls, this cannot happen. Yeah, I am so damn frustrated about this. This is straight unacceptable from the Bulls today. So basically, had Fox never requested a trade, that means we would come out of deadline with the same roster. Impeccable asset management from our front office once again. Yep. It probably would have been the exact same roster, honestly. Just because Fox had requested a trade with San Antonio, that's the reason why the Bulls were so like, oh, we can get in and get our pick back. And again, I don't even value it that much, bro. Yeah, AK will be doing a press conference soon, or it's going to be someone from the Bulls front office. So whether it's Mark Eversley or AK, I don't know. Maybe it's both, but someone will be doing the front. Someone from the front office will be doing something or doing the press conference. Okay, not going anywhere. If you're the Suns front office, where do you go from here? I don't know, bro. I think the Suns are in a bad spot too. Trades can be made before the draft too, right? So if the Bulls don't make the playoffs, then they can trade with any team that also didn't make the playoffs. Whenever the finals does end, then you can go ahead and make any trade. Right when the finals ends, you're allowed to make a trade the next minute. Okay. Yes, you're allowed to make a trade before draft night. You're allowed to make a trade at draft night, obviously. So basically, right when the finals are done, you're allowed to go ahead and make a deal. So you can go ahead and do that. Bro, it's not about what we want, it's about whatever plan they have. Not going to spend energy on this. I mean, of course, but their plan is clearly dumb as hell, or they don't have a plan, Zayover. They clearly don't have a plan. So, I mean, what the hell is the plan? You traded Zach, but you didn't trade Vooch. And so, if your plan is to try to still be relevant, then you just keep Zach, right? So, either way, you clearly just didn't do the right thing. Vooch playing really well this season. He'll be a year older next year. Doubt he can duplicate these numbers he has this year. His value's going to go down this offseason. Oh, yeah. I mean, we're lucky Vooch even has value because he was basically worthless with how bad he played last year, right? So the fact that he got his value to at least like sort of, maybe it's like just kind of leveled out or like somewhat positive, like that was a win for us, but we didn't take advantage. Now he's making more money next year on a 1-year contract and he's gonna be 35. Like, that has no value. I'm sorry. You're not gonna suddenly just miraculously get a first-round pick for Nikola Vucevic in the offseason, okay? Like, maybe there is a chance you get a second-round pick, but like, I seriously doubt it, bro. There is no damn shot that you're gonna get a second-round pick, at least in my opinion, in the offseason for Vooch. I think it's gonna be a salary dump, so you're just gonna be trading Nikola Vucevic for. You're probably gonna have to give up a second-round pick to get rid of Vooch, so you're probably just stuck with him, honestly. Looking forward to see Herder play. Her Kings fans calling Red Velvet, so it could be, so him being a Bull could be cool. I mean, I'm just gonna pray to God that Herder fixes his value here, because he's very clearly right now, just not. He's not playing great, and he's like, if his main thing is to shoot the damn basketball and he can't shoot the basketball, then like what value does he bring? So I'm gonna hope that he can somehow find his value again here, and we can trade him. But I don't have faith. Tracy, after trading AC, DeMar, and Zach, we got back Giddey, our own top 10 protected 2025 first-round pick, and salary dumps. This is just great. Yeah, and we also gave up a second-round pick that we got back in the DeMar DeRozan deal. So there's even less that we got back in return because we traded a thing from the DeMar DeRozan deal and the Zach LaVine deal. So good job, front office. You did great. But Zayover, what are we doing? Like, we're not good. We're the 10th seed and we're about to get passed by Philly. Like, what do you mean if this works out? Like, what is working out in terms of this specific team? Like, nothing on this team is gonna, like, there's nothing on this team that's like, oh yeah, you're a playoff team. Like, there's nothing on this team that's like, yeah, let's see if this works out, and then we'll make a decision after it. Like, what's the plan? Like, what are we looking for to work out? You're not going to become a playoff team with this roster. Like, you traded your best player. Like, there's nothing here. I don't see anything here at all. Vooch is not an all-star, bro. Like, I know people want him to be an all-star this season. He just isn't an all-star. 11 minutes going forward. Yeah, I just don't know what the new three guys are going to look like. Maybe Collins' experiment at center with Giddey. I'd hate that because Collins was barely playing in San Antonio earlier. Like, why would he play here and suddenly be good? GSW is apparently going to post to a full roster spot. Look for buyout guys. That makes the most sense. I think that honestly was the proper decision for them. Yeah, promote posts, and then if they time their minimum salaries that they give out to guys, they'll stay under the luxury tax. They'll stay under the first apron, which they're hard cap at the first apron. So that makes a lot of sense. All right, let me know if there's a presser. I don't see it yet, so we're still kind of waiting for this press conference to happen here. But let me know if there is a presser going on. Hey, Pat fixed a shot. I mean, I understand that we want to give as much like credit to Peter Patton and like pray to God that he's gonna like fix everybody, but a man can only do so much, bro. Like Peter Patton, I mean, it looks like he's done wonders for guys like Kobe and you know, I guess Io last year in a sense, but maybe not so much this year. It's just I don't have faith. Like I think there's only so much you can do. It's like you're starting at such a low point in terms of your shot. Like I don't have much faith that suddenly you're gonna suddenly become like amazing under Peter Patton. Like I think Peter Patton can help you and he can improve you a percentage or two, but he's not gonna suddenly make you like a great 3-point shooter like all of a sudden. And not to mention like there's guys obviously that, you know, if you're talking about Kevin Huerter specifically, like he's 27. Like it's not like he's just a young player that needs help with the shot. Like he was obviously a very good shooter, so you have something to work off of. But he might just not be the same player anymore. Like he might just be on the decline. When it comes to Giddey, like Giddey's not 20. Like he's 22. He's gonna be 23 this year. Like I don't have faith that he's just gonna miraculously make Josh Giddey like an amazing 3-point shooter. So it's frustrating as hell watching this because like there's so much then on Patton's plate where it's like I don't think he's gonna be able to fix everybody. But Rob, if you're talking about Zach Collins, okay, first and foremost, I'm gonna tell you right now, don't get excited about him, okay? Do not get excited by Zach Collins, okay? He was not playing that many games, okay? We're at 50 games, okay? He is not playing that many minutes. He is shooting 46% from the field as a big man. He's shooting 30% from the field as from 3-point range, okay? He hasn't been good. He was playing backup center. He was not playing starting center. He was playing backup center for Wemby, and he wasn't good, okay? So don't expect anything spectacular from Zach Collins, all right? Like, there's nothing really here, at least in my opinion. He seems to just not exactly really be that special. And if he can't, you know, play well under a Spurs team that actually has some, like, good point guards that can pass you the basketball really effectively, and you have some shot makers there, then what makes you think he's going to be good here, bro? You're going to be playing behind Nikola Vucevic now. I don't know what the hell is going to happen now with the center rotation because you have Vucevic, Smith, and Collins to work with, bro. Like, I just don't understand what we're doing. Like, we have 3 centers now on the roster that all of them need some sort of playing time if we're going to hope to trade Zach Collins. Like, what's the plan? I don't know what we're looking at, bro. Why is Bush still here? Don't ask me, bro. Front office is stupid. Zayover, Patrick Williams is coming off the bench now. So I'm already saying, bro, Patrick Williams is not gonna bust out all of a sudden. He's played better off the bench, but he's not like putting up 20 points consistently. So I mean, honestly, if there is ever a time right now, if Patrick Williams does not go and average 16 points per game for the rest of the season, then no one can say anything at this point, bro. Like, I'm being dead ass right now. Patrick Williams, if he doesn't average 16 points for the rest of the season, then like no one can say a word. Because this is very clearly, if there's ever a time where everyone's being like, oh, he's playing behind Zach, he's playing behind DeMar DeRozan. All right, let's see it, bro. Let's see it then. Let's actually see you play well then. Let's see you put up 20 points per game consistently. You want to bet? I bet he doesn't do it. No, but Rob, you're saying you're questioning like, well, his fit around Wemby and everything, like maybe he doesn't look too great. I'm like, well, I'm telling you right now, he just isn't good. Like that's the problem with Zach Collins. Okay, so yeah, I'm just saying like, don't try to like work your mind around and be like, oh, maybe we can like kind of figure it out with them. Like, no, I don't think we should. That's not a plan. Like, hopefully we can, but that shouldn't be the plan at all. You shouldn't be relying on Zach Collins to just suddenly figure it out here. We let Vooch come off the bench. I would like you to convince Billy Donovan and try to convince Nikola Vucevic to come off the bench. Like, he's going to be making $20 million this year and then $21 million next year. He's not coming off the bench. All I'm saying, he's on the roster and he's probably going to play, so let's watch him play on, see what happens. I know what's going to happen. But you got Jalen Smith on the roster too. So, like, what's the plan? Like, you have Vucevic and Jalen Smith and Zach Collins. So, who's not playing? Like, you're not going to run a 3-center rotation. That is the dumbest decision in the world. I want from centers better defense. Well, I introduced you to Zach Collins, who was averaging 0.4 blocks a game. Like, he's not going to bring any defense, bro. The team's current construction isn't going anywhere, period. Oh, I agree. Yeah, we're not going anywhere. We're stuck in mud. Still waiting for the press conference. Don't know why they haven't started yet. They're probably trying to figure out every single word they're going to talk about to try to find every excuse in the world in the press conference now. Are you passionate about this topic? I assure you we are okay. Let's just hope for the best pick for the NBA for flag. We're not okay, Zayover. We are in absolute hell right now. We're not okay. Because let's just be honest with ourselves, Zayover. We're probably getting the 9th overall pick, right? That's gonna probably be it. Reminder, we can't get 8th unless we move unless we move further down the standings, right? So our best option right now is the 9th overall pick or you get top 4. And it's very slim chance you're gonna get top 4, okay? So it's either you get the 9th overall pick or the 10th. And you're not going to get Cooper Flag. So what's the plan if you don't get Cooper Flag this offseason, right? Just saying. Because then you're still stuck with Nikola Vucevic. You have no cap space to take on bad contracts. You're looking bad. You're just looking straight up awful. Want to see Bulls roster with the modern type big? Maybe not Collins, but he's better defensively than Vooch. I don't know if that's even the case, though, honestly. I don't think Zach Collins is that good defensively, bro. He doesn't take more than 10 shots. No, you won't average that. I mean, yeah. One second, y'all. Hold on. Hey, I'm streaming currently. You want to come in the chat? Or do you want to join Discord call? Okay, I'm wrapping up here soon. So, I'll call you in a second. Bye. Maybe if we face larger teams, we're going 2 bigs at the same time. We did it before. I think it's a dumb decision, but I mean, I guess we have to prepare for that now, right? Is that we get big lineups. Like, I hate the Jalen Smith and Vooch lineup. The Jalen Smith and Vooch lineup is one of the stupidest lineups in the world. It's not a good decision. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a good decision at all. I'm still waiting for this press conference, bro. You're taking some of the skill sets he may have, and you're trying to see how that plays out. No, I agree. But you have to put him at center, right? Like, the whole idea of, like, putting Zach Collins at power forward, I don't think it's going to work. But, to try to get the most out of his skill set, he probably has to play the center position, right? Like, yeah, I'm not going to be happy with him playing power forward. So, how are you going to make sure you manage 3 centers? Like, that's just not possible. Fish should have played more than 13 minutes last game, too. I agree. But I do think, though, that maybe Jalen Smith's stamina is actually a concern. But if that is the case, though, then he still has to get his 14 to 16 minutes per game. That's with Vucevic already, you know, playing 30 minutes a game. So then what's going to happen with Zach Collins then? Like, you traded for him, so you got to try to see if you get anything out of him, right? I can already hear it with the 7th pick. The Chicago Fleece selects some long raw dude that won't help the team until he gets straight and blossoms elsewhere. Well, honestly, it might honestly just be a guy that doesn't ever blossom. Rob, I agree that he can move his feet better and jump higher than Vooch, but that's a low bar to pass. Like, that's not that just because you can do that doesn't mean that suddenly you're going to be better at defending, like, dramatically. Like, he might be like a tiny bit better than Vucevic, but that's a low bar on defense. That's all I'm saying. When Smith plays like he did yesterday, playing for only 13 minutes is a crime. Oh, I completely agree. Yeah, he needed to play more than just 13 minutes. But I will say, though, I wonder if Jalen Smith's stamina is not exactly the best. But if Billy Donovan is not being smart and he can play Jalen Smith like 20 minutes and play Vooch like 28 minutes instead, then that yesterday was absolutely stupid by them. The draft top 8, maybe 10 could be no bust, I hope. I think this year, for what I've been hearing, I think this draft is a little bit overrated for what I've been hearing, okay? But then I think next year is going to be probably bigger and, like, probably better overall. But the Bulls, let's say they land at 9, like, you're probably not going to be getting, a guy that everyone's looking at in terms of, as, like, a very big, like a very nice piece moving forward. But I mean, hopefully someone falls, right? Sorry, hold on. Vooch got manhandled last night by Gobert. He played soft last night. I mean, Vooch got manhandled by guys that were much smaller than Gobert. Like, Vooch gave up so many offensive rebounds because he thought he got shoved in the back, bro. And he went like this, and he was trying to draw the foul. Like, bro, you're a 7-footer getting shoved by like a 6'6" guy. Like, you're like, first off, it wasn't even that much of a shove. But secondly, go and get the rebound. Like, I don't care that he got shoved. Like, go get the rebound, bro. Oh, Trumo Kiki's back in the league. Cool. Was just sending Marvin Bagley to the Grizzlies as part of this deal. Okay, interesting. Donnie Davis also sent to Memphis. So I guess the Grizzlies are basically looking for some young talent in return for Marcus Smart and also a first-round pick. I don't know about that, bro, but sure. Memphis. I mean, they just sent their own first-round pick back, so to them. I don't know. I don't like that for the Grizzlies, honestly. But Rob, it's hard to get a rhythm like that. Like, 4 minutes is not enough. Like I would understand like 6 and 6. Okay, like 6 and 6 makes sense to me. Like you get half a quarter to play and that's it, right? If you want to do it that way, fine. But 4 minutes to me is too little. That's too little time in terms of trying to get any sort of rhythm out there. Because like in those 4 minutes, like initial 4 minutes, you can honestly not touch the basketball. That's a possibility as a center. So I mean, I can understand 6 and 6, but 4 and 4 and 4 is not it. That's so hard to do. But not to mention, it's just hard to do the rotations then. Like you're basically depending on stoppage of play every 4 minutes then perfectly, and it's just not possible. We want the Wolves to have a center, different center like Robert Williams. Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, Robert Williams will be like nice. He is undersized though. That is the issue. No, I mean, I agree with you, Bach. Like, I don't know about 38 wins. I mean, now that Zach is officially gone, I have doubts about 38 wins. Like, I did say, like, because my initial prediction was 31, right? And then I said that for what after the initial good start, I was like, okay, well, maybe it's like 36 then, or 34. I don't know about 38. I could definitely see them getting 34 still, but I would be kind of shocked if he hit like 36 or 38 wins now. But okay, we'll see. Let me know if the press conference ever starts here and I'm missing it. Honestly, bro, I'm not gonna wait till 3 o'clock for a press conference, so I might just end stream soon here. I'm not here to wait for a press conference that. Okay, if it's scheduled for 3, then I'm not gonna wait around. I'm not gonna wait around then. No, I think this team can win more than 8 more games for the rest of the year. I'm just saying that I don't know if they're gonna get to like close to 500 type. Like, I mean, bro, we're 8 games under 500. So like, if you get to 38 wins, then that means that you got to 38 and like, what was it, 44? Like, that's. I mean, it's ground made up, but like that just seems hard. I think this Bulls team is gonna kind of stick around like where they're at now. So it's like you're 8 games under. So you'd be 34 and 46 or whatever it is, whatever the number is. My thing is though about what you're saying, Rob, is like if everyone is gonna be sharing minutes, right? That means that between those 3 centers, all 3 of those centers get 60 minutes a game then. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, you can't have these guys only get 60 minutes a game. That's not smart, right? So you need to go ahead and make sure that these guys get the proper playing time. I mean, Smith is already only getting 60 minutes per game, but that means Vooch suddenly drops down to like 60 minutes a game. That's just not smart. So I don't know how you're gonna do it, but you gotta find a way to do this correctly. I think the more likely scenario that we're gonna be seeing is that we're gonna see probably Jalen Smith and Zach Collins probably playing together. I think that's a dumb decision too. But I just really don't think that's a smart thing. But that's probably what we're gonna be seeing moving forward is that Jalen Smith at power forward. And Zach Collins as center. My only thing then is that if you do that, then that's cutting into Buzelis' minutes. So I personally would not do that. If I'm Billy, I'm playing Buzelis then. Like, I'm not gonna be trying to that experiment whatsoever. So I don't think it's worth it right now for what the Bulls could be trying. It might honestly just be worth just keeping Zach Collins on the bench for the rest of the season, just not playing him. To make sure that Buzelis and Patrick Williams still get their minutes that they need. Because, reminder, they're both coming off the bench. Yep. You think this team will squeeze in the plan? It's definitely possible. I think if I had a bet though, I think Philly passes us. But if I mean to me it's basically a 50-50 shot. Like it's gonna be between us and Philly, honestly. I don't know if Toronto's gonna be really pushing for it now with the moves they just made. Because I mean they got Brandon Ingram, right? So I mean there's a possibility for sure. But I mean, I honestly just think it's between us and Philly, and I think if I had to make a bet, Philly passes us. I mean, Toronto is 5.5 games behind, so it's not the worst thing in the world, but I mean, it's possible they can make up that ground, but we'd have to go on like another serious losing streak that we like went on before we traded Zach. Would you move Kobe for just salary in 2 seconds? It matters obviously the salary. Like I wouldn't want like long-term salary back. And if the second round picks were like for 25 and 26, then possibly. Again, it's all contextual. Like I can't just be like, oh, would you just do this like general trade idea? I would need to look at everything. But I mean, I think there is a shot I would have done it if the salary was fine and the picks were kind of earlier on. Ideally, I would like 3 seconds instead because I mean Bogdanovich just got traded for 3 seconds. DeAndre Hunter's got traded for 3 seconds. So, if I could have gotten expiring salary and 3 second-round picks, I probably would have done it. But you know, I don't know if the Bulls got that or not. Bulls have only 3 teams that are below 500 or bad till April. That's Toronto and Jazz. Oh, I agree. But we've seen obviously the Bulls can get some weird wins. Like we just won against Miami, just weirdly enough. So, like there's always some weird wins that you can figure out. But there's always those weird losses, so it could even out at the end of the day. January 3rd, 2025. AK is satisfied with remembering his stated goals. The Bulls are performing to management's expectations. Yep. Reminder for ownership, it's all about selling tickets, right? They just don't. They just care about just selling tickets. That's all. They don't care about making the team good. They just care about selling tickets. And if the Bulls are at least fighting for a play-in spot, you're going to be selling tickets. Expiring salary, yeah. So if I could get expiring salary and 3 second-round picks for Kobe White, I probably would have done it. Like the reason why, like with the Mitchell Robinson, for example, like Mitchell Robinson had another year on his contract, right? So and because he hasn't played all season long, I would have wanted 4 second rounders then, because it's like I need a second rounder to take on a guy who hasn't played all season long, and he has a contract for next season, right? So I would have wanted the extra second rounder. But if I could have gotten 3 second rounders for Kobe White today, I would have probably done it. Probably rather make any more moves. I mean, I don't know. Unstoppable, it's not shocking to me. It's frustrating as hell to me, though. I'm just not shocked by it. This is kind of what I expected. The Bulls are just incompetent. Billy gives about 30-something minutes every game. That's my worry. I would also be worried about that. I mean, honestly, if you're Billy, though, like, reminder, Billy's job is to go out and win, okay? Like, I don't need Billy Donovan to try to go out and try to develop these guys. Like, Billy's job is always to go out and win, as a coach's job should be, okay? But if management was going to be smart about this, then you don't have vets on the roster for Billy to give 30 minutes a night, right? That's the problem. It's not necessarily Billy's fault. Billy's job is to go out and win games, right? So if you're going to try to control that, though, then it's management's job to go ahead and make sure Billy can't just go out and give 30 minutes every single night to the vets and not play the young guys, okay? That's the problem. The problem is, though, is that you just traded for Kevin Huerter and Zach Collins, right? You just traded for Kevin Huerter and Zach Collins. So you just gave Billy Donovan 2 more vets to go ahead and play now. So if your goal is to go ahead and being part of a rebuild with this team and making Billy Donovan play the younger players, you didn't do your job, right? You didn't do your job at all by not getting rid of the vets on the team, right? So I understand that it's like, yeah, I'm worried Billy's going to be doing this, but at the end of the day, that's not Billy's fault. That's just him doing his job. It's management's fault that we have so many vets still on the roster that Billy's just going to be playing them still. That's on management. It's not on Billy. No, I'm sure they do have some conversations, but Billy's job at the end of the day is to win games. That's his job as coach, okay? I wouldn't want any other coach, like there is no such thing as a development coach looking to only develop guys, okay? Like, the coach's job is to win games, okay? Like, you shouldn't have a coach that's trying to actively tank. That's not a thing, okay? Your job is to go and win games, okay? So, but it's management's job to control how many games you're going to be winning. And if you can trade your vets and lose some more games, then that's management's job, okay? And you'll just be worse from management. Darius, that is AV Breeze is right. That is just a narrative. Billy did come out in like the recent press conference way after they just traded Zach. Billy did come out and say that like there's this whole narrative that like he doesn't want to be part of a rebuild. Like, no, he said that he's willing to be part of a rebuild. So he's here to stay. Now, granted, though, I will say this. That might honestly just be him just kind of sucking up to his employer and saying like, hey, well, I don't want to get fired, so I want to keep my job. So I'm just gonna say that, yeah, I'm willing to be part of a rebuild, right? So I don't really know if it's fully true that like, yeah, he wants to be part of a rebuild or whatnot. I don't really know, but at the end of the day, I think that Billy, I do think that he'd be willing to be part of a rebuild. So it is kind of like a whole little like it's a game, like just like how Jason Kidd just kind of had to agree and say like I agree with what Nico Harrison did. Like Billy's gonna have to kind of say kind of everything right just to make sure that he doesn't get fired or something. So I do think that Billy is probably like, especially with the contract he's probably on, he's probably willing to be part of a rebuild with the Bulls. But if maybe he's not, but he's just kind of saying it just to kind of suck up to his employer, because again, AK and Mark obviously are his employer, so he has to kind of say the right things at the end of the day. I always said he communicated very well for a coach, the best the Bulls have had since I've started watching in terms of explaining and being asked questions and open. No, I agree. I think Billy's very open to the media, and I think that he's been very open about his relationship with the front office. But I honestly think, though, that when it comes to Billy again, like, his job is just to go and win games. So he's pretty open about every decision he makes, and his job is he's always said it's just to go and win games. So no Zach less wins in my opinion, but who knows? Oh, I agree. I think Zach's going to be less wins, but without Zach, it's going to be less wins. But I just, the front office obviously didn't do enough, at least in my opinion, to like make sure the Bulls really fall down in the standings. Somewhat surprising considering he left OKC for the rebuild, but I guess I believe him for now. Well, I don't know if necessarily that was just because of the rebuild, right? Like, I wouldn't be shocked if he left OKC just because they wanted to move on from him, right? I think with OKC they wanted to just move on and like, they wanted a new change of direction. And that's fine, right? They clearly wanted to, with them going into a rebuild, they wanted a different coach. So I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, I think that when it comes to this, like, as much as we want to think, oh, Billy left the Oklahoma City Thunder because he didn't want to be part of the rebuild, at the same time, it could be that the Oklahoma City Thunder wanted to move on from Billy for the rebuild, right? It kind of goes both ways. I know that they like mutually agreed to part ways with the contract, but for Billy, it might have just been a better thing for him to go ahead and just agree to break up the contract and look for somewhere else, right? And it's kind of worked out so far, right? I mean, he has long-term job security with the Bulls, But he was going to debut tonight, but they're going to wait till the home game, apparently. Oh, okay. It'll be rough for him. I assume the fans won't be happy. Probably not. I hope the fans don't boo him. Like, they should be booing Nico Harrison and not Anthony Davis. It's not Anthony Davis's fault that he got traded for Luka Doncic. So I hope the fans don't boo Anthony Davis. That would be a rough thing for AD. Though they should be booing Nico Harrison, though. Like, absolutely be booing Nico Harrison. Nico Harrison should be getting booed for the rest of his life. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and just end stream though. I thought that the press conference would happen earlier, but clearly not. You'll see my reactions on Twitter about the press conference and everything. So if you want to see my reactions on Twitter, here's my link to my Twitter. I'm just gonna go ahead and just end stream now because I do want to call David because David just called me and just talk to him really quickly. So thank you guys for checking in on the NBA trade deadline stream. Sucks that the Bulls just didn't that they didn't make any moves here. So I'm really upset that they didn't trade Vooch. I honestly, bro, like bare minimum today had to be just trade Vooch. You didn't have to trade Kobe. I think you should have, but you didn't have to trade him. You didn't have to trade anyone else, honestly, but you had to trade Vooch at bare minimum, and they didn't do that. So it's really frustrating to see this. So moving forward, we're gonna be seeing on Saturday the new guys from the Zach LaVine deal, and we'll see how that goes. We're gonna have 1 billion guards on our roster to try to play, so I don't know what Billy's gonna be doing with that. Hopefully Matas Buzelis continues to get at least 25 minutes a game moving forward. He doesn't need to start, he just needs to just play consistently. Lonzo Ball has officially been extended, so there's that. Not, at the end of the day, it's a very team-friendly deal, so maybe they look to trade him down the road here, which will be interesting to see what they do with Lonzo. But I stand by my theory, bro. I don't think the Bulls are rebuilding. I think the Bulls traded Zach just to go ahead and trade Zach away, and to get the contract off the books, and they're gonna go and try to be relevant still and try to make the play-in this year. So they're gonna push for the play-in and try to make it, and they have every right to try to do that because they don't have to worry about losing their pick now from the Zach LaVine deal. So not happy at all with this result at the trade deadline. Just trading Zach LaVine alone is not good, and you got peanuts in return for him. So yeah, I'm not happy at all with this, and we're honestly we just continue to go into the depths of hell with this front office. So press conference is gonna happen in about 15 minutes. You'll see my reaction to that on Twitter. I might just kind of listen to the entire thing, then react to it. And yeah, you'll get my reaction to it eventually. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. If you have not already hit the like button on the stream, please do. It helps me out a lot. Thank you guys for checking in on the deadline stream. This trade deadline for the NBA has been a lot of fun. I absolutely love the trade deadline this year. The Luka trade obviously is the biggest thing, but a lot of names got moved. So it was a fun overall trade deadline in terms of being an NBA fan. But if you're a Bulls fan, bro, I'm sorry. This is disgustingly bad. All right, y'all. Ad's gonna play after the stream. It's gonna go off here. Thank you guys so much. I'll see y'all on Saturday, probably. All right, peace out, y'all.